Hey y'all, what's going on? I'm here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 9, episode 16, I believe. We picked up right where we left off from last week, with the explosive dinner in Hawaii. Candy is, they replayed when Candy was talking about choking the shit out of Portia, and Portia, she's like, oh, Candy choked me or whatever, this, that, and third, and Candy like, don't fucking test me, alright? So, Phaedra, she's trying to go over to where Candy is at, and she's trying to, like, comfort her or whatever, Sheree understands Candy's anger, like, a lot of us do, because, like I said, making that type of accusation, that's a heavy accusation to be making against somebody, you know what I mean? So, Kenya, she tells Phaedra to sit her ass down because she's really not helping the situation, because I don't know who Phaedra was talking to. I didn't know if she was talking to Candy or Todd or whatever, but she was saying something about how, well, you've done stuff to me in the past or whatever, so, I don't know, whatever, woo, woo, woo. And, Kenya is like, what the fuck does that shit that y'all had in the past got to do with what the fuck we dealing with right now? And I was with Kenya on that shit. Like, Phaedra, you don't sit the fuck down somewhere. Like, why are you bringing up that shit that y'all had going on or got going on, whatever the case may be, when we on this shit? Like, come the fuck on. So, anyways, Cynthia, she just over it at this motherfucking point, because she knows that, Portia is lying on Candy or whatever, and she just don't want to sit there any longer and hear her tell these motherfucking lies. So, Candy, she's like, also saying how Portia wanted to have sex with one of her friends that same night or whatever, that she was trying to, do some stuff with her. And she tells Dixie Todd, Portia's man, that, to watch out because he has a freak hoe. And I'm just like, oh, Candy, girl, calm down. But, I mean, like I said, I understand, her anger or whatever, because, to make that type of accusation. But anyway, so the next day, Todd and Candy, they're talking or whatever, and pretty much she doesn't want Portia to, be involved in their festivities for, that day or whatever, because things had just got so explosive the night before, so she thinks that they need a break from one another. So she pretty much calls Phaedra and lets her know to let Portia know that, she'd rather her stay with Dixie Todd for today or whatever, and everybody else goes out and does what is it? I think it was speed boating that they was doing or something. But anyways, Phaedra, she shows up to Portia's room or whatever to deliver the news about Portia having to stay behind and everything, because before Phaedra had came, Portia was telling Todd, usually, she was telling Dixie Todd that, usually we have fights and everything, and we get over that shit or whatever, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? We get over that shit. We just kind of like one dysfunctional family. So, Phaedra, she shows up in this very sexy swimsuit. She had like a cover up on and everything. And Dixie Todd, he's looking all impressed or whatever. And I'm just like, and Portia's wanting to see her thong and everything. I'm like, in front of your man though? Like, he high-fiving Phaedra and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, well, I mean, this ain't the first time, Phaedra been kind of, loose when it comes to what she, has on, trips that they've had. So, I mean, in front of, other people's men. So, I mean, whatever. So, Phaedra is telling, Portia how Candy is still upset by everything. And, Portia's like, I don't understand. Like, Candy is the one who threatened me. So, I mean, like, what's really good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the point is, Portia, like, come on. Like, that shit was too fucking intense for you to sit up here and think that y'all should be around each other the very next day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's been other situations that have happened and the two people have been around each other the next day, but you making the accusations of her, trying to drug you or whatever, yeah. I mean, come on. So, anyways, the rest of the gang, they're going speed boating and everything, Sheree, Bob, Kenya, Sheree, Bob, Kenya, and Phaedra, they're in one car. Candy, Cynthia, Peter, and Todd, they're in another car. So, Phaedra, she's, telling Sheree about, Candy not wanting Portia to be there and everything. And, Peter, he's saying that, because he apparently he stayed at the dinner for like an extra hour or so, to see what Portia was talking about. Candy had asked him, like, what was Portia saying after, we had all left. And he was like that, she pretty much was saying that she's tired of being bullied by all of you or whatever. And, Cynthia, she's like, oh, whatever, please. Like, she's sitting up here making lies about everybody and she want to talk about being bullied. Now, dude, sometimes I do have like a little bit of a soft spot for Portia. Sometimes I do be feeling like they kind of gang up on her a little bit or whatever. But in this particular situation, like, no, I don't feel like nobody was ganging up on you. I felt like everybody felt like you was full of shit or whatever to, make the accusations that you were making against Candy, and they were over it. They were over it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, so yeah, definitely in this particular situation, I don't feel like she was ganged up on. Like, I just felt like she, was full of shit. So, anyways, we get Phaedra, she's sitting up here saying, to Bob and Sheree and Kenya, like, well, I can't say what's a lie and da-da-da-da. And Kenya's like, I mean, to me, if a person doesn't have any type of proof, then I'm going to think they lying. You know what I'm saying? And, Sheree, she talks about how her and Bob couldn't be on no trip together, like how Cynthia and Peter are on a trip, like we see that things are less awkward between Cynthia and Peter now, you know what I'm saying. And Bob is like, yeah, we did after, I think he was saying sometime after their divorce or something, they went to Vegas and everything, and she fell asleep in the car, and how he was taking the seatbelt off of her so she could fly through the window or some dumb shit that he was saying. And, he was like, but I never, put my hands on her. You know what I'm saying? I never choked her. And, when he said that, Sheree gave him the funny look like, yeah, the fuck you did. And he was like, I choked you and everything. And she was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't choke you hard enough. And I'm just like, really, Bob? Now, I know, a lot of people are saying that they feel like the storyline of Sheree and Bob trying to get back together is fake. And it might be, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't be surprised, you know what I'm saying, but because you guys who've been watching me for a minute, you guys know I was kind of here for Sheree and Bob to get back together, but then finding out that he put his hands on her and everything, I don't know about that one now. But then on top of that, him making jokes about the shit like it's funny, you know what I'm saying, like that was fucked up. I mean, like I said, whether the storyline of them getting back together is true or not, for him to, make those type of jokes and everything, like, on TV like that, like, that shit is not cool. It's not cool at all, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like I'm back to kind of side-eyeing Bob, like, after him, doing that. So anyways, Kenya, she's not amused at all. Sheree, she starts tearing up and everything. Kenya, she starts to comfort her. And Phaedra, she giving Bob that look like, you better apologize right now. You know how when you telling somebody to apologize to somebody, you give them that screwed up face as you telling them that shit? That's what she was doing. She was like, apologize. But she had to tell him that more than one time. And my thing is, why do somebody else got to tell him to apologize? Well, I mean, why? For one, he shouldn't even have said the shit out his mouth to begin with. But two, why somebody else got to tell a grown-ass man to apologize about some shit? You know what I'm saying? That he knew was out of line. So anyways, he sits up here and, tries to grab Sheree's hand and everything. And talks about, I don't like to see you cry. And he's sitting up here talking about them growing together and blase. And, Sheree is like that she thought Bob was a changed man. But, pretty much now she's not so sure. So moving on from that, we get the speed boating. They thinking they gonna be on a yacht or something, and come to find out they're gonna be on like this small boat and everything. But it looked like it was fun or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sheree, she's trying to be focused or whatever, but pretty much Bob killed her vibe. Kenya, she, is like, they're on the boat or whatever, and she's like, go faster, I have a need for speed. Like, she wants to go faster and all this other stuff, and she says that, she was like, I don't know, it's just something about, my need for speed, and, I love to be in danger and all this other stuff. I was just like, yeah, you love to be in danger, all right, when it comes to that Matt Anyways, I'm just, I'm just saying. But anyways, so, they go to dinner afterwards or whatever, and everybody is noticing Cynthia and Peter's behavior, and they like, y'all trying to rekindle some shit or whatever, And Phaedra, she wants the ladies to have a restoration service. And I didn't mention it in last week's episode because I really didn't give a fuck, because I'm with everybody else. Like, Phaedra do all this church girl stuff or whatever, but then she get with Portia and be like, yes girl, like Thought Delicious and Queen Thought and all this other stuff. So I just, but last week's episode, she went to a church or whatever, and she was talking to some people. I forgot who they were. She was talking to some people about having a restoration service with the girls and everything, and she was trying to wait till they got back to Atlanta, but she thinks that maybe that she should do it now while they're on the trip and everything. All the girls are pretty much, feeling like that the shit is not going to work. Candy is over Portia. Cynthia, she's open to it, but she ain't got no time for the mess, because she'll walk the fuck out like she did at the dinner, the night before and everything. Kenya, she's like, you can't forgive anybody that don't want to be forgiven, and Phaedra is pretty much saying how Kenya's killing her vibe or whatever, this, that, and the third. The guys, they, skedaddle to the bar. They like, yeah, this conversation is getting a little bit intense, fellas, let's go to the bar, got a blast in my Jimmy Neutron voice. They was like, yeah, we ain't trying to be here for this bullshit, and I don't blame them. So anyways, Phaedra is saying how she feels like that there needs to be a line drawn, you know what I'm saying, and Kenya, she starts being petty, with her little napkin or whatever, fake crying, and she like, oh, nobody wants to be Portia's friend, or something like that she was saying. So we get the restoration. Portia, she, arrives at Phaedra's room first and everything. And Phaedra, she's telling her, what the restoration is, how, she wants to talk about anger and all this other stuff. And Portia was like, I was cool as fuck last night, but everybody else was angry and everything. And I will say that, like I said, a few episodes ago where, they was going on that glamping trip, and how Candy was saying something about Portia. I forgot what she had said, but I had said, that, I guess Portia doesn't handle things in a grown-up way all the time or something like that. But I said that but I was saying that, the rest of them don't always handle shit in a grown-up way, and sometimes they pop off as well. And prime example, Candy, you did, pop off last night and everything, but once again, with this particular situation, I can understand you popping off and being pissed off, because, like I said, the accusation that was made, but anyways, moving on. So the guys, we see them at the bar or whatever, and they even bring along Ditzy Todd with them and everything. So, this Ditzy Todd, he pretty much says that, he just tries to stay out of women's business and yada, 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 whatever. Sheree is telling Portia about the moment that she had with Bob in the car or whatever. Bob is pretty much talking to the guys about Sheree and all this other stuff. And, Candy comes through or whatever, and Candy, she finds out about the whole situation with Bob or whatever. Phaedra is telling her the story. Sheree feels like that, Kenya low-blowed her about the whole abuse situation that happened a few episodes ago, whatever. Cynthia and Kenya, they finally show up. Phaedra, she's saying how, she starts it off by saying how she wants them to give love a chance, or at least, peace a chance and everything. And, Candy, she starts laughing. I'm like, Candy, stop being fucking childish. Like, seriously, But anyway, so, Phaedra, she, no, I'm sorry. Candy feels like that Phaedra should have been the peacemaker last night instead of, trying to play peacemaker tonight all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? So, and which I understand that, whatever. Sheree, she starts it off addressing Kenya or whatever, and Kenya says that Sheree, the reason why she said what she said is because Sheree had told her about how she has a way of provoking people and everything. You know what I'm saying? And Kenya is like, no female should ever take the side of a man when it comes to domestic violence and everything, this, that, and the third. And I mean, like I said, we all have kind of said that Kenya can be provoking and everything, but at the same time, that does not excuse Matt's behavior at all, under no circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Domestic violence is not cool on either side. You know what I mean? So Kenya, she also is talking about how I was there for you earlier with Bob and everything, and her and Sheree, they just going back and forth, and Kenya is saying, no, I said what I said to educate you, Sheree, or whatever, this, that, and the third, and they both telling each other that they should be ashamed of themselves and everything. And I just feel like this, like, y'all both just need to apologize. Just apologize. Y'all both need to apologize. You know what I'm saying? And Phaedra feels like, Phaedra, she calms the situation down or whatever, and she feels like that it was a lost in communication and everything. And Kenya, she's cool with that or whatever. So I guess they move on from that shit, and then the room becomes silent. Then Portia starts to speak, and Portia tells Candy, I felt like you got the way that you did yesterday because I said something that was the truth, and that the truth is hurting you or whatever, and now you want to cry, this, then, third. And Candy, she like, bitch, please. Them tears was not for you. Like, it was not me caring about you or whatever. She's like, bottom line, you made the shit up. You know what I'm saying? And Candy is like, she's saying like, I don't understand how we got to the point that we got to, because I supported you more than anybody has. And that's true. You know what I'm saying? Like I've said before, Candy has been there a lot for Portia. When everybody was against her, Candy was there for her. You know what I'm saying? And they even, they was flashing back at the times that Candy was there for her. But like I said, this just didn't start this season. It seemed like, it was kind of tension before then, when it was like, when Candy and Phaedra first start going through their shit, and it seemed like Portia was just straight up taking Phaedra's side instead of being neutral when you're friends with the both of these ladies. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Candy is like, it's crazy how you could turn against me off of one thing. And she brings up the whole, when Sheree said that, Portia and Bob, not Bob, Block, when Portia and Block, had sex or whatever, and she was like that, I never said that about you or whatever, but it doesn't matter because y'all did have sex. You know what I'm saying? So, it's crazy how you could just do that. And Portia is like, well, if you say something about me, I'm going to say something about you or whatever, and I just unleash and everything. And Sheree is like, wait a minute. So, she's saying in her confessional, so you pretty much admit that you just made this shit up and everything, and you can't be doing no shit like that just because somebody said something that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? And that's true. You can't do no shit like that, Portia. Like, that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up of you to do. You know what I mean? And I heard that apparently she had did a I don't know, was it Instagram live video or something after last week's episode and everything, and I didn't care to watch it because I heard she was still talking about a whole bunch of nothing in the situation in regards to her and Candy. So I wasn't going to, aggravate myself trying to watch it. So anyways, Portia, then next thing you know, she sits up here and tells Candy that she feels like that she should apologize to Phaedra about saying that she cheated on her husband. Like, girl, once again, you going so hard for Phaedra or whatever, but I don't see her going this hard for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and once again, it's a lot of things that both Candy and Phaedra need to apologize to each other for. Until they do that, they'll never be able to really move on and at least just be like real live cordial. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Candy says that she never said that Phaedra cheated on her husband. She said that Phaedra was talking to other guys. But that is kind of the same thing, Candy. You know what I'm saying? And Phaedra was like, I was not talking to other guys. And Kandi was like, you were talking to another guy or whatever. And, you know, Phaedra's like, I mean, it's not like I was like, oh, what? Like she started to get lost for words. Like she didn't know what to say at that point. So, you know, Kenya, she catches the tea. She like, wait a minute. Is Phaedra pretty much admitting that she was talking to somebody else while she was married? Because she didn't straight out just say, oh, I wasn't talking to another guy. Like, she was stuck like Chuck, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, once again, if Phaedra was talking to another guy, so fucking what? Apollo, you know, was doing his thing. Like, whatever. You know, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, you know, Phaedra, she's like, well, I mean, you also said how I called the feds on you and everything, this, that, and the third. And Kandi is like, you know, it was right after you was mad at us about me and Todd about something. So, you know, the timing just seemed like, you know, like shit wasn't adding up. You know what I'm saying? But Kandi is like, but I can apologize for that and everything. So Sheree is like, look, this whole meeting don't seem too spiritual. Like, where's the prayer? You know, where's the prayer at? And all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like it's like blow for blow, jab for jab. And, you know, Cynthia, she feels like, once again, this is just a waste of time. You know, Kandi, she feels like that Phaedra just wanted everybody to be friends with Portia again. And I can agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But, anyways, the last thing, we get Bob and Sheree. You know, they meet up or whatever at some jewelry store. You know, Sheree is like that, you know, and it's not, a piece of jewelry is not going to make shit okay from what he did from the day before. And, you know, he still kind of like got this smirk on his face or whatever. And Sheree, she starts to, you know, break up or whatever. You know, like, her voice is breaking up as she's talking, and he's, you know, she's like how, you know, talking about how he was still joking around about the shit like it's funny and everything, like it wasn't funny then, it's not funny now. And, you know, he's saying like, you know, I'd rather just laugh versus crying about it. And, you know, I mean, that's my coping mechanism, like deal with that shit or whatever. And she, you know, she's talking about like his infidelity, but you know how things was deeper than that. And you know how when she brought up the situation, you know, with him choking her, you know, yesterday or whatever, and you know, she's like, you know, and how you were still laughing about that incident, and like how you sitting up here laughing right now. You know what I'm saying? So she's over it. She gets up, walks away. He's trying to grab her, and she yanks her arm away from him, and he's still laughing as she, you know, is walking away or whatever. He's like, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. Like, Bob, your big sweaty ass, you get on my fucking nerves. So anyways, she's pretty much saying how, you know, this trip was an eye opener for her, and how she dodged the bullet. That was, you know, pretty much the episode. You know, I know Cynthia is going to be on Watch What Happens Live later, so I want to see, you know, what she has to say about, you know, the season or whatever. And I think they're going to talk about, you know, a clip from next week's episode. I think I see that Miss Lawrence is going to be up there as well. You know, I think we haven't seen him none this season, right? So yeah, I kind of, you know, like to see what he got to say too. So anyways, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys click the bell so you get notified about all my new videos. Follow me on social media, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.